In this video, we will go from a client brief to actually analyzing the site, coming up with sketches and concepts, and actually taking those sketches and digitizing them inside Synapse.app. This is the questionnaire that I usually use to send to clients, and if you actually want to get it for absolutely free so you can use it for your own project, you can do that in the link below. But here you can see that we contain some of the basic information like the project type, who will live in this space, which of the options of the lifestyle apply, the spatial needs, etc. So we will be starting off here with the site plan, and we will be analyzing first off the sun path. We have the north basically set on a 90-degree angle, and we will actually have a full on sun exposure on the south, which makes me think that that's where we should aim to position the living room and the patio and have everything else to the east. Now the first initial sketch was just to kind of show that. However, on top of the layers now I'm just drawing some sort of bubble diagram where we're coming from the left side, where I'm going to add some storage next to the car parking lot or cover, which is going to be covered with a roof. Right next to it we're going to have the two bedrooms, which are the master bedrooms, which both of them are going to have either some sort of bathroom or even a closet. We're going to have the foyer in the middle with the living room right next to it, and the kitchen and the dining to the north with the patio connecting to the outside. And as you can see, we have the entrance to the car cover and then a pathway which sends us to the foyer. The foyer automatically connects to the bathroom, which also works and serves as a guest bathroom. And then to the right side, we have an open kitchen, dining, living room, which connects and has an indoor-outdoor connection to the patio. Now, there are still some sacrifices that we made here. For example, I always like to have the car cover access in some sort of clear direction and entrance in the home, without actually having to walk outside again to enter the foyer. And then maybe the connection to the patio on the east side of the home will make us have most of the windows coming on the east rather than the south, but that almost works well in the climate that this site is in. With that said, I'm just starting to draw and sketch with some thicker lines exactly how I'm envisioning it. So taking it over from the bubble diagram into a real scale sketch. And this is because the tool that we'll be using to digitize the Synapse actually is fully traceable, in the sense that you can just take a picture just like I did here and then turn it into a real scale CAD sketch. In this instance, the sketch is pretty basic, which almost makes it easy to access and easy quality with even for homeowners. And you are basically going to see in just a second the quality output that we will get off a CAD drawing inside Synapse out of this, and we will continue to develop the concept even further. So right here I am inside Synapse.app. This is a fully web-based tool for architecture studios where you can work with multiple people at the same time. However, this is what I really like about this tool. So I can just drag and drop the sketch, and once I do that, Synapse will actually detect it. Now, the quality of the output really depends also on the input. This sketch basically was a very basic schematic sketch, something that even a homeowner could do. But the power of this is that most architects actually start their design process, their exploration, and their concepts through a sketch. But there remains a barrier through the physical world and the digital world on the screen, where you have to trace everything manually. However, this is only one part of the features that actually Synapse unlocks, where it makes this a lot more seamless. Even the tracer here is not supposed to be a final output with one click. In my experience, at least it gets you to about 90% of the tracing process, which you won't have to do manually, and you can just clean things up and or refine and add further from there. And so now you can see the sketch, which is above our walls here, and I can just drag it. And as you can see, this has been clearly traced. And on top of this, what I think is super cool, I mean, yes, you can see, as I told you earlier, that it's not 100% there. Like right here, there should be a door instead of a window. And then, for example, this door right here should have a different opening orientation. But the cool part of this is that it's fully editable even after it has been generated. And the other part, which I absolutely love, you can see in the sketch how I just basically used the highlighter to just kind of show where I imagine the openings to be. And it has added that for us as well, every single one except the one in the kitchen here, which I can easily just select one of the windows, duplicate it, and then just place it there. And then it kind of got the idea that this is supposed to be thinner, but all of these will refine in just a second, because I'm just going to drag the home and actually put it right on top of the site. I'm going to select the site plan, I will send it to back, and I will also lock it, that way it does not move. And over here in the site plan you can see that we already have the line where we have the actual setback line. And now I can just drag this and position it in a way that does not disrupt that. And at the moment, to just not any more confusion while we are refining the floor plan, I will just go here and turn off the side completely. So first of all, I'll just delete that extra door, remove these windows completely, and then I will just also fix the door alignment for the storage area. We'll also have to add some sort of fill right here for the car driveway, or we might even actually connect it to the whole landscape. But for now, I will continue to align these two doors, and then maybe we could even move these a bit to the right, because this needs some extra width and some breathing room. Now the entrance door, I would want it to be 1100 millimeters. And by the way, you can notice as well while we're working at this, the tracer also puts everything in the correct scale. And also if you take the picture in not a perfect perspective or not perfectly perpendicular, it will automatically fix the skewing and the perspective of the image. Now there are also some other design decisions I think that have to be taken here. Like one of them is, I'm wondering whether we actually close this off and add a sliding door here, which I think actually would serve well as some sort of division from quieter areas to the public areas. And I think we can do that quite easily. If I just go to the door option here in the toolbar, I can place it right here, and then I can configure the door however I want. So I can select it, I can make this wider, let's say 1100 millimeters. And if you by any chance work with the Imperial system, you can follow along completely, or you can actually change the units right here. If you go to window configuration, I can actually choose a sliding window, and then I can make it a pocket door, and then also change the handle. So if you just see what I did there, you can see that the actual door configuration inside Synapse helps a lot to maintain control over your design, your drawings, and everything else. So now in the floor plan, we also have the pocket door drawn perfectly. Now what I will do next is that I will draw a rectangle that comes up about here. So this will be placed right on the side of the wall. It will be 0.6 meters, and then I can double click on the rectangle and I can add another point over here, another one right here as well, and then I can then extend this to be a fully L-shaped kitchen, and this will snap perfectly. I really like the feeling of precision that Synapse gives you when you're actually drafting. As you can see, even the AI features are meant to only give you the ability to save time and remove the manual work, rather than take the steering wheel off of you, because you still have all the customizability inside of this. I will make this the same white as the assets, and I'm basically going to remove all of the fills at first, because now I can just go to rooms. I can add one room over here. I can add another one for this bedroom. This can be some sort of corridor. This will be the foyer, and basically I'm just clicking on the room and apply it into each enclosed area, and I'll do the same for this area here. And what I can do now is that I'm just going to make sure that these are a bit better aligned. That way the drawing has some hierarchy. So now you can see that I've actually named all of the areas. And then we also have this living area, which actually is much larger than only the living area. And what we can do here, right where I click the rooms, I can open this actual menu drop down, and I can just draw a divider from this area up to here. And now it will make the living area smaller, and I can do the same thing for this area here. And I can place the room again, and I can just type in living room. I can just add another area towards that entry, and then I can do this again over here. I can name this kitchen and dining. What I will do next is that I will actually add the wall which will handle the fireplace. So this can be similar to a U-shaped wall, which inside of it we will have the actual fireplace, and then this will be just a supportive wall on the other corner here. Now for this car parking area, I can select the rectangle, I can go to fill and add a hatch by selecting the hatch menu, and I can just choose this diagrammatic hatch which can have a scale of 4 or a scale of 6 or even 10, and then give it a white background. Also, I will apply the same diagrammatic hatch for the patio here. I'll make it the scale of 10, and then we have this as follows. Now this floor plan actually needs a bit more furnishing, and for that we can go to the asset library here, and then you can see that we have all of the different libraries. I can click on living room. I'm going to delete the existing ones, and I'm going to scroll to find something which fits. Now one heads up is that when I'm hovering over this library elements, you can see that there is a small orange camera icon on the top right, which means that this is linked to a 3D model which will show up in the camera renders that we're going to do in one of the future episodes of this series. So I want to make sure that whatever asset I'm choosing actually has a 3D model. So I will drag and drop this armchair, and then I will scroll to find a sofa or a couch. I can actually also use this coffee table and maybe even increase it in size a bit. And then I'm also going to place this sofa right here. Now I can use the rectangular tool by using the R key shortcut and then dragging and drop it in a diagonal. I can go to hatch and then find another diagrammatic fill, which could be this one. I will add a completely white background, and then I'll increase the scale by 5. I will send this to back completely first, and then I can just drag it over to what we have here. I will lower its stroke because otherwise it seems like it is on top of the elements. And just like that, I will continue to furnish the rest of the rooms and just basically making the floor plan look like spaces which are more livable actual than empty. So right here at the bathroom, I'm actually going to add double sinks, and then I will add a very slim wall. That way this is usable in case someone just wants to wash their hands quickly, even if someone is using the bathroom on the other side. So what I mean by this is that I'm actually going to add a pocket door right here. I'm going to go to the configuration. I'm going to make it a sliding door, make it a pocket door, change the handle to vertical, and then I'll also change the alignment to where this opens. So now as you can see, this looks much better and more like a livable space. Now a lot of the things here are a bit too illustrative for like a real construction plan. However, since we are still in conceptual phase, I think these actually add a lot of character to the actual floor plan. These people, the car, and actually the rooms look a lot more furnished. There's still more that I want to do. So even these windows over here, I will make them sliding windows. So I can select the window, I can go to window configuration, and I can make that. And the cool part about the window configuration is that I can click plus to add as many leaves or remove as many leaves as I want. I can add a transom, remove a transom. I will leave it a double leaf window, and then I will make this a sliding window as well. I'll make the handle vertical, and I'll click apply, and now you can see that this is applicable even on the 2D and soon enough in the 3D once we actually get to that point in this project. And then for this one, I'll just add another leaf, and the same on the other side here. Then I'll use the dimensions tool. I'll make sure they are chained and locked, and then I will go ahead and click on the starting point. Leave it a distance of about 1 meter, and then continue with the rest of the wall exactly where it needs to have a dimension. So anytime there's some sort of opening or a change in the wall, I'll actually make sure that we document it with a dimension. So just like this. Now, even for the dimensions on all of the other sides of the wall, I want to make sure that the distance between the dimension and the wall actually stays 1 meter. That way there is consistency in the drafting. So now we have some sort of conceptual plan with the dimensions as well. Now, looking from a design point of view, there are a few flaws that I'd like to point out, but in a way I kind of chose to make the sacrifices and put them on the scale, which one I prefer. Now, firstly, the actual living room doesn't get as much light from the south, and actually while I'm talking about this, I'm going to turn on the side plan. The actual living room doesn't get as much light from the south, so it's very minimal, and it actually gets more light coming in from the east, and even that very late on during the day, because here this is going to be covered by a roof, and it will actually be shaded most of the time. However, why I made that choice is because of the connection that it gets to the outside, and I think this connection with the patio over here actually helps a lot for both the dining room and the patio. Thinking about this project, it actually sits in a more I would say tropical climate, or where it's summer most of the year. And for that reason, it might work better in terms of energy efficiency and for heating and cooling better off on this area. Now, what actually worked right in terms of orientation is the kitchen sits in the north, where it's actually good for work zones. It gets a lot of neutral light. This bedroom actually works well because it is optimized to have a cooler temperature rather than this one, which sits at the south orientation during the whole day, which might be a lot warmer to sleep in during the night. But we have good visibility from the living room in terms of the entrance, so that can be easily visible. We have a very good transition from the foyer to the rest of the room, so it's very slow transition. You get some like area where it stops all of the noise, the pollution, and everything else coming in from the outside, or even immediately smelling all the smells from the kitchen here. And by the way, another option is, and this is totally based on preference, that this kitchen could also work as closed or semi-closed. That way the noise, the smelling, and everything else doesn't continue to the rest of the home. And then the other part, which is not my favorite, is that after someone parks the car, they actually have to get back here and walk towards the entrance to actually enter the home. I mean, this is not the biggest deal. Usually I like to also have some sort of connection from the parking lot of the car directly into the inside of the home. However, for now, I think this will work fine. And this is going to be a conceptual plan that we're going to continue to work on during the series and actually fix. And this is a floor plan that we're actually going to refine further on in terms of the drafting and maybe even more construction details like the layers of the walls, the grid system, and everything else. With that said, I think this is a pretty good starting point from this video. We went from a brief and a side plan to actually getting a bubble diagram, getting some sort of sketching going on just so we are more fluid by hand, and then turning that sketch into a conceptual floor plan inside Synaps.app. Now, next up, we are also going to create some conceptual 3D renders based on this floor plan without any 3D modeling, and they're going to be in real scale. And if you actually want to see the video how I'm able to create realistic renders from a 2D floor plan, you can go ahead and watch the video right here.